the story and characters better than SMT5. You assume SMT5 had story and characters. Yeah, it is though. Characters aren't like great, but they're good. They're fine. They're characters. Which is more than I could say about Nocturne and 5. So there's that. I don't really hate anyone in the cast, but there's not really a character that I'm like, oh, I love this character. I guess Haru, but other than that. They're definitely good for SMT standards. Story's also interesting. I like the way they're doing the story. It's kind of like, you know, it's kind of getting started in this third day. It hasn't really gotten started, and now it's kind of like getting there a little bit. But, I mean, it's interesting. I'm interested to see what happens. Which is more than I could say about SMT5, how I felt. Which I was interested in SMT5's story in the beginning. I was like, oh, dude, I'm looking forward to seeing how this unfolds. And it never really went anywhere, so. SMT5 had the hype factor in the beginning. I was like really interested to see where they took the characters and the story, but it was just like Nocturne. They did nothing with it. Although I will give Nocturne the advantage because Nocturne at least did better with its whole pads. I feel like Nocturne did the pads better than 5, even though, you know, they're basically similar. The Empyrean section of 5 felt really anticlimactic, is the main thing. And the ending I got, very underwhelming. I'd sit through your Star Ocean 3 stream again. Apparently a lot of people, like, I still get so many, like, comments to this day. Like, most people find me through that Redux playthrough, which part of me is like, I don't wanna, it'll be a really long time from now, but, because that playthrough is really special. Lots of people find me through that playthrough. They're like, oh, hey, this game is great, blah, 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 etc. It's a good game though. It's not perfect. It's far from perfect, but it's still a pretty solid game. Very fun. It's like my most viewed and successful playthrough to this day. One day I'll probably do a, like, I mean, it's already a Redux on the channel, but one day I'll do a Universe playthrough because Star Ocean does so well on my channel, and Star Ocean does not have enough games. But it wouldn't be until after I did 1, 4, and probably Reyna's story. No, I'd probably do 3 again before I did Reyna's story. Hey, Mabufu. Every SMT5 ending's underwhelming. Why they kill the characters you root for? Like, why? Yeah, I mean, they're all underwhelming, but that's lame. That they're all underwhelming. I killed the one that Yuzu was supposed to get, huh? Okay, whatever. Hate that. This is the worst skill crack session ever. We'll get our chance, though. Why'd I go Mabufu? That was a mistake and a half. I mean, luckily it didn't do anything to me, but... Speaking of Star Ocean and, like, replaying games, I do know, I don't know much about 6. I've been staying away from information. The one thing I do know, it's hard not to know, there are going to be 2 protagonists. If the game is good, which again, I hope it's at least good, or if it's at least okay, we'll probably be seeing 2 playthroughs of it at some point. That does mean, like, hey, I have a reason to play it again, which is why I hope it's good. But I guess we'll see, won't we? I have my limited hopes for it. Yeah, why not? Yeah, they did SMT5 stories so dirty. They could have done, like, again, Nocturne's story was, like, more the same vein, but SMT5's felt much more lackluster. If I had to choose, I would choose Nocturne in the story department, but not by much, but even still. Yeah, I'm hoping Star Ocean 6 is good. I really am. I'm hoping, but I'm also not super hyped for the game. It doesn't need to be the best game ever made. It just needs to be on 2 and 3's level. It needs to be better than 5 and 4. 4 and 5. 4 was fine. 5 was mediocre to bad. I would say mediocre because it was just a rushed game and low budget title. Honestly, if 6 takes something from Star Ocean 4, I want it to take the combat and the exploration from 4. Because 4 had fun battles, and the planets were kind of fun. Like, there were a decent amount of planets that were fun to explore. So, if it's going to take anything from Star Ocean 4, it should take that part. But make the characters decent to good. 4's story was, like, fine. But the characters were so insufferable that it didn't matter. We'll see, though. We'll see on Thursday. It's just really hard to be excited. I do like Star Ocean. I really do like Star Ocean. Like, as a series, but it's so flawed. Because, like, one is a good game. Because 1 is the first one. I'm a little too harsh on the first Star Ocean. It's a good game. 2 and 3 are good. 3 is my personal favorite. 2 is also good, though. 4 is, like, fine. Because it's got good combat and pretty good exploration. And the story's, like, interesting. But the characters in that game are, like, some of the worst in gaming. And the voice acting especially. The voice acting and characters in 4 are... I can't even think of a word for it. They're just that bad. And then 5 is, like, fine. 5 is, like, kind of just mediocre. And it felt really rushed because it's only, like, 15 to 20 hours. And characters aren't as bad as 4, but they're not very memorable. Other than Emerson, but even then, Emerson's not really, like, great. I don't know. It's, like, it's hard to be excited for it when 4 and 5 were letdowns. Like, even though 4 was kind of a right step in the direction with combat and planets, it still felt, as a game, overall, it just felt worse than 3. So my ranking of the games would just be 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I like Star Ocean 1 more than 4 because 4 has insufferable characters, and characters are one of the most important things for me. I think the problem with 1 is that it barely has any plot, but 1 is like a fine game. 1 and 4 are close, because 4 is fun to play, but the characters are insufferable. So I'd probably... 1 and 4 are kind of tied. Maybe I give 1 the edge because the characters aren't insufferable. Also, it is the first one. I can get Silky and Basilisk. Yeah, I'm going to just buy them to make my life easier, to be honest. Actually, no, I should... Wait a minute, am I not 26? You can just get demons higher level than you? Interesting. $15 to 20 hours for Star Ocean. For Star Ocean 5, yeah. I mean, Star Ocean 1 is also kind of short, but I feel like Star Ocean 5 you could finish in 15 hours. I think my playthrough got to 20 hours, but I did some of the side quests. It's really short. The 5th one is a short game. The 5th one's like Valkyrie Elysium like. Which again, it wouldn't be a big deal, but 5 is like, it's just like, the story feels obviously rushed. Even more so than Valkyrie Elysium. Valkyrie Elysium was quote-unquote rushed. Alright, I'm gonna actually auction and talk for the people who are like, hey, do the dang auction. Don't talk about Star Ocean. Valkyrie Elysium... Valkyrie Elysium's story was quote-unquote rushed, technically. But I talked about it where I'm like, oh, the game could have worked if you just added more stuff that happened in between the game. Like, I wouldn't mind the story they had if they just added more, people would say fluff, but just added more stuff to make it interesting. But 5 quite literally rushes its story where it's like, oh, hey, like, you're getting invested in this scene. Oh, we're just gonna move on to this other thing. It just felt really rushed, and it's really short. It's just on a time constraint. Like, if they had more time to develop the story and characters, it could have been better. I'm gonna fuse Silky. So, yeah. And no, this isn't me saying that Valkyrie Elysium is better than Star Ocean 5. They're tied, honestly. Because 5's combat is, like, fine. It's enjoyable, nothing special. Elysium's combat starts off fun, but gets repetitive. The characters in 5 are, like, fine. No one really stands out other than Emerson. Like, they're better than 4, but they're not really, like, memorable. Elysium, the Valkyrie is so dull, and the Anharia are neat, but that's all they are. So, I just tied the games, honestly. How I feel about Elysium is, like, pretty spot on to how I feel about Star Ocean 5. A game I wouldn't recommend, but not the worst game in the world, is how I would put it. Alright. Star Ocean 1's on sale for $10. $10 is a good price for anyone wondering about Star Ocean. Star Ocean 1's like it's a fine game. It's a good starting point. If you play it, it's like, hey... It's a really nice, it's a nice, what's the word? It's a nice way to be like, oh, am I gonna like this series? So, again, it's not a bad game. Star Ocean 1's, like, fine. It's the first one, so they were kind of learning stuff. Okay, back to Overclocked. Silky. I really like Pendragon, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna just use this for Silky. We've also had Hime for a while, so I wouldn't mind giving her up. Definitely. Ufu, Media, Recon. What kind of pass? Oh, only anti-curse. That sucks. Begin the fuse. Seems you can need me, human, blah blah. Yeah, I agree with that, basically. I mean, I actually played 4 and 5. I actually used to like 4. And I used to like 4 because back then, I didn't really care. Like, I cared about characters a little bit, but I was much more of a gameplay first kind of person. I feel like I changed as a person. Like, when it comes to my gaming preferences, I feel like I was much more of a gameplay first person. which is why I actually liked Star Ocean 4. And now I just think it's fine. Like, I don't think it's a bad game, but it's just fine, because I've realized the characters aren't very good, and characters are my new priority. So, you know. You could say I have nostalgia for 4, but I'm really good at not letting nostalgia affect judgment. If a game isn't as good as I remember, I'm just gonna say it. And 4 wasn't even my first Star Ocean. It was my second? No, third. I played 2, 3, then 4. No, I think I played 2, 4, 3. I don't even remember, dude. It's been so long. I don't really like Orcus. I don't really want Orcus. What's your skill? Oh, it's Chaos Wave. We've been over this. Silky's is Charm, which is classic. Heimdall, yes! Give me Heimdall. I do not want to use my Basilisk, though. I will use these two, though. Love this demon. It's got such a sick design. 4 stance and Peril Eyes. And then, mana bonus is cool. Move through obstacles. Turn cost minus 50%. Star Ocean 3 is a game you play if you want to get into the series. I'd agree mechanically, but there's one problem. Star Ocean 2 is only on the PS4 and PS2. You have to think about games' accessibility on platforms. If Star Ocean 3 was on the Switch, then yeah, I would recommend it as a starting point. You have to realize, if someone doesn't have a PS2 or a PS4, they're screwed. They can't play Star Ocean 3. They would have to emulate it if they had a good PC, so. By accessible, you have to consider platforms, which Star Ocean 1's like on everything. It's on PS4, Switch, I think PC, Steam, and it's on the PSP, so it's on a good amount of stuff. Okay, I think that's about all I wanted to do. Good stuff with fusions. I'm sorry if people don't like Star Ocean. I'm talking about Star Ocean, but Star Ocean 6 is coming out this Thursday, so it kind of just happened. Do I want Basilisk on? I mean, put it there for now. I'm going to worry about this later. Silky, you're going to go somewhere. Right there. Definitely Heimdall. Love Heimdall. Very sick demon. Have a good fire demon though? That's the question. What's your right? Attack range 2, no extra turn. I mean, Jack-o'-lantern's like my only fire thing, so I kind of want to keep him on someone. Decisions. Oh, you have the wrong Gazuki, whatever. Yeah. I don't know where to put this Pyro Jack, dude. I've got no idea. I mean, like, I could switch him in whenever, so maybe I'll just keep him on the bench for now. Alright, let's make some progress in this third day. Let's just do this battle. Tell me about this, what was it that Raptor said? Data card? I don't remember the game telling me about data cards. What's a data card? Anyone in chat, honestly, not just Raptor, but it's Raptor's favorite game, so I ask him first, but tell me about these data cards. I don't remember ever being told about these. I don't know if I'm going to try to get an auto skill now, but I would like to know about what they are. Oh, register demons. I should do that. Oops. Duplicate demons are selected. That's fine.